Hello everyone, I'm Ray Crawford. New faces in new places. That was the case for schools like Texas, USC, and Penn State this past season. So how do they do? Here to hand out his own report cards, our associate editor, Rich Cirminiello. So Rich, who are your top 3 first-year coaches this past season?
Yeah, you know, Ray, not a lot of household names. At number 3, I have Jeff Brom of Western Kentucky. He took what he inherited from Bobby Petrino, supersized it, made it better. The offense was fantastic all year long. They go 8-5. At number 2, a name that very few people heard of, but they should. Willie Fritz of Georgia Southern, predicted to finish in 8th place in the Sun Belt in their first year in the conference. They go 9-3 and actually win the league title. And finally, at number 1 is Brian Harsin at Boise State. It's next to impossible to replace a legend, right? Chris Peterson. All Harsin does is win 12 games, win the Fiesta Bowl and the Mountain West title. So business as usual for the Broncos.
All right, so let's focus on some other big names who just wrapped up their first year. Let's start with Steve Sarkisian at USC. Here's how he feels about the directions the Trojans are headed.
Our future, and I'll say it again, is ridiculously bright. We're going to continue to get better. We're going to continue to recruit. We're going to recruit great players. We're going to develop the players that we have in our program, and we're going to compete for championships.
So, Rich, Sarkisian feels pretty good, but how does Pat Haden feel about the job he did?
Well, listen, I think he has to be modestly happy. I have him number 6 out of the 20 first-year coaches from 2014, so he did a good job. I'm sure he'd like to do better. They have a lot of young talent, a lack of consistency, and a lack of finishing. There were a couple of games that they lost in the final 10 seconds, kept USC from reaching their goals. I'm bullish on the Trojans, though, long-term.
It seemed, Rich, like much of the focus in year 1 for Charlie Strong was kind of changing the culture to fit his demands there at Texas. How would you assess the job he did in Austin?
Listen, I think there's 2 ways to look at it, Ray. Off the field, macro evaluation, I think he did what he was supposed to. I think the culture has begun to change. This is now a tougher program. They're going to continue to get a different type of kid. The philosophy is changing. On the field, however, I still believe there was enough talent to do better than 6-7. They struggled down the stretch. They did not get better at the end of the season, losing badly to TCU, and then in their bowl game to Arkansas. So at 6-7, I got to give him about a B-. I have him number 11 among first-year coaches.
Penn State had the lowest winning percentage and fewest league wins since the Jerry Sandusky scandal. So did James Franklin do enough?
You know, I think he did about as well as expected. I mean, in terms of teams that are hamstrung, really, Penn State has it tougher than anyone. You're talking about a limitation of scholarships, depth problems. They struggled along the offensive line all year long. Generally speaking, though, Ray, I'd have to say it was a positive year in Happy Valley. They finished with a bowl victory against Boston College, finish above 500. The key for me is they've got to turn around Christian Hackenberg. Had a horrible sophomore slump. If the quarterback is better next year, I think brighter days are ahead for the Nittany Lions.
Well, it certainly is still an appealing situation for recruits. Franklin has a top 10 class right now, according to Scout.com. Rich, as always, great analysis. Thanks.
Thanks, Ray.
Another coach getting it done on the recruiting trail. Why, Butch Jones, of course. The Tennessee head coach already has some star-studded talent on campus early to help the Vols for next fall. Learn all about these impact freshmen on CampusInsiders.com.